Okay, listen. Now we are going to talk about modern system of education. So, modern system of education. The beginning of the modern system of Indian education can be traced to the efforts of the Christian missionaries who arrived in India in the wake of European occupation. As a result of their efforts, many institutions were established across India. These institutions imparted Western as well as Indian education. So the modern education system in India may have started with the arrival of religious groups. So எப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் ஆச்சு? So the modern education system in India may have started with arrival of religious groups following the European colony. After that European colony, yeah, following following the European colonization. As a result of that efforts, many education institutions were established in all over India. Yeah, so as a result, in the end of the result of that efforts, many educational institutions were started all over India. So these institutions taught Western education and Indian education. So these institutions taught Western education and Indian education also. So role of the Christian missionaries. What is the role of the Christian missionaries? The Europeans came to India for the trade and established trading companies. They acquired lands and constructed forces. Later, they wanted to spread their cultural and religion among Indians. The Europeans thought that they could make Indians understand the administrations and the religious theories better if they could impart education to the local population in their own method. So they started education institution. The Portuguese were the first Europeans who started modern system of education in India. After that, followed by the Portuguese, the French opened their institution for all the Indians for education, so on. So Ziegenbalg is a very important one. Okay, what are the things in this page paragraph? Role of Christian missionaries. Listen, the role of Christian missionary groups. Europeans who came to do business, okay, Europeans who came to do business, they establishing the trading companies in India. So Europeans who came to do business, but they establishing trading companies in India, and they bought the lands and also built forts, and they wanted to spread their culture and religion among the Indian people. Okay, so the Europeans came to India and they establishing a trading companies. After that, they bought so many lands. Okay, they wanted to spread their cultural and religion among Indian people, assuming they assuming a good understanding. They assumed that Indians good understanding and local administration religious ideas. So they assumed the good understanding and the local administration religious ideas. So they started educational institution. Okay, so Europeans assumed means அவங்க நினைச்சுக்கிட்டாங்க. Okay, thought that what they thought, yeah, Indians have a good understanding local administration and religious ideas. So that only they started educational institutions. So the Portuguese is the first one who started the modern education first time in India. Who Portuguese? So the Portuguese who started modern education first time in India. Following Portuguese, the French also started educational institution. Yeah, so after Portuguese, followed by Portuguese, the French also started education institutes in India for Indians. So there in this Indian, so these Indian teachers were trained in the vernacular. So after open the institution, some of the Indian teachers are working. Okay, so they given so many training to the teachers. Yeah, after the two Germans, name is Ziegenbalg and Bluetso. So this is the Ziegenbalg and Bluetso began schools and began schools. They started their own school, and also their training. They given a training for the teacher. So educational institutions were established to provide English education after the arrival of English. Okay. So first Portuguese started the educational institution. After Portuguese, what? Who started? Germans. Yeah, after Portuguese were who spread French, and then two Germans, and then now English. So after the arrival of English East India Company, they established the English education. They established the English education UK institution. So gradually, yeah, after arrival of English East India Company, yeah, some of the colleges were opened. Like Sanskrit colleges were started in Madras and Bengal, Bandras, and also they started the missionary college in Calcutta. So that missionary college in Calcutta, that is called as Bishop College. That is called as Bishop College. And then also they wanted, so the English people also, so those who were came to India, they wanted to spread their cultural, their religion among Indian people. Okay, so அதே மாதிரி தான், so English peoples also, the British people also wanted to spread their religious among the Indian people. So therefore, religious outreach groups worked hard to spread education in India. That that religious outreach groups, there is a one group called religious outreach groups. They worked hard to spread education in India, and also many educational institutions were established through their efforts. Through their efforts, many educational institutions were established in India. So these institutions provide Western education and Indian education. So these institutions provide not only, so they started in India, but they did not only give Indian education. They also given the Western education. Education in the British rule. History of education in British rule can be divided into four periods. But the history of Indian education during the British rule can be divided into four phases. First one is from the early days of British rule up to 1813. So from the early days of British rule up to 1813, from the period of 1813 to 1853, and then 1854 to 1920, and then 1921 to 1947. Yeah, this is the four phases. Yeah. So the first basis for that is during its early days, the East India Company followed a policy of indifference and non-interference towards education, as this sector did not form a part of its program. The company's charter was renewed in 1813, which compelled the company to assume responsibility for the education of Indians, though on a very limited scale. Besides missionaries, non-missionaries like Raja Ram Mohan Rai of Bengal, Pachafar of Madras, Fraser of Delhi contributed to the cause of education. So what they did in the early days, the English East India Company followed the one policy of negligence and also non-interference in the education. In the early days, the English East India Company followed the policy of negligence and non-interference in education because education was not part of its plan. That education institution was not part of their plan. What their plan? They wanted to buy land. They wanted to construct build forts, and they wanted to spread their cultural and religion among the people. But apart from that, only the educations are there. Apart from religious, non yeah, apart from the religious, there is one groups. Apart from the religion groups, there is another groups like Raja Ram Mohan Rai of Bengal, Pachiyapur of Madras, Fraser of Delhi. So they were Indians. They also contributed to education. So they contributed to education only. Okay, that's it. This is the first phase. And then second period was also marked by great educational controversies concerning the issues of educational policy, medium of instruction, method of spreading. First, there were orientation which supported the preservation of Oriental learning and the use of Sanskrit and Persian as the media of instruction. They were opposed by the Angelists who advocated the invention of Western knowledge through the English. The third section believed in the use of Indian language as the media of instruction. So the second phase was seen as a period of great disagreement on the issues of education policy. So this second phase was seen as a great disagreement on the issues of education policy. Why? Because the first group, so there are several groups like castes. Okay, the first group of down castes wanted to preserve the downward languages. Yeah, so in the education institution, the first group of people wanted the downward languages, and also make Sanskrit and Persian the medium of instruction. So what in the first group of people wanted their language, downcast language, wanted to preserve the downward language, and also make what are the mediums they need, Sanskrit and Persian language of instruction. And the second group, pro-English terrorist advocated. They are the second group. They spread of the Western knowledge through the English languages. And the third groups are these who believe in using the languages as a language of institutions. So the third phase of British influence in education may be called the period of All India educational policy. So this third phase, also known as what? Period of on All India educational policy, it commenced with Sir Charles Wood's dispatch in 1854. Fourth phase. The fourth phase may be called the period of provincial autonomy. The Act of 1935. The Act of 1935 used a new era of educational advancement through the country. The new programs were hit hard by the worldwide economic depression in 1929. The introduction of complete provincial autonomy by the Government of India Act of 1935 further strengthened the position of the provincial ministers of education. Okay, listen. The fourth phase is the period of provincial autonomy. The Sargent report was prepared as the most important product for the advancement of education. Whose report? Sargent report. The Sargent report was prepared as the most important product for the advancement of the education after the World War II. So this education policy had a profound effect on the thinking and functions of the contemporary education. So this is on the fourth page. These are the educational centers in India. So Taxila, Delhi, Jaipur, Varabi, Bombay, Varda, Banaras. பனாரஸில் என்ன காலேஜ் இருக்குது? பனாரஸ் சான்ஸ்கிரிட். ஸோ விக்ரமஷிலா, நாலந்தா, கல்கட்டாவில் மிஷினரி காலேஜ். மெட்ராஸ் ஆல்சோ சான்ஸ்கிரிட். காஞ்சி, சிதம்பரம், ஸ்ரீரங்கம், தஞ்சாவூர், மதுரை, கொச்சின்.